You were listening to episode 147 of Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we get a hit of nostalgia running around with America's favorite family in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
That was probably the longest intro that we have done in the nearly 3 years that we've been doing this show.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow, I'm still talking.
Yes, so Ryan and I actually were just kind of dabbling in our old episodes, and we found that in 3 weeks, it'll be 3 years of the Game Deflators Podcast.
And we are unwittingly celebrating Simpsons month with our 3-year anniversary, which is a fine coincidence, I guess. I don't know if there's I don't know when The Simpsons started. Maybe it started this time of the year?
Simpsons? I don't know, dude. Maybe.
The first episode was a Christmas episode, though.
Yeah, and it was in 89, so probably not in the middle of September. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, good year. So while Ryan looks it up to confirm when The Simpsons actually launched, which month it was, this week we got a pretty fun episode. So we played a little bit of Simpsons Hit and Run. We're going to be talking about Nintendo...
December 17th, 1989.
Yeah, I figured. We'll talk about Nintendo bringing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to the Switch Online. We're going to talk about the WATA Games Heritage Auctions corruption, I guess you can say, that's going on. So we'll dig into that in a recent video that we watched. We'll discuss a little bit about the PS5 smaller heatsink and what that might mean. And then Ryan's going to take the lead here. He's super excited to talk about the potentially upcoming PlayStation Showcase as well as Nintendo Direct. So we'll look into that a bit too. But as always, to get started, check us out on thegamedeflators.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at The Game Deflators, Twitter at Game Deflators. Leave a 5-star review on those wonderful podcast applications. And Ryan, what'd you pick up this week?
I first want to let everybody know that I was laughing because I thought that Simptember.
Simptember.
But that doesn't sound like we want to celebrate Simptember.
No, not at all, dude.
Let us know what you think about Simptember.
Simptember. Okay.
So
I like Spider Month better.
Yeah, last week was interesting. So I was going somewhere and I'd been seeing for a while, I've been watching the Spawn Wave news thing every morning for a while now. And whenever he pulls up charts on sales trends and stuff for Switch, you always see Mario Kart 8 up there. And I'm always like, who's buying Mario Kart 8? So it came out for the Wii U and now it's, been one of the best selling titles. And then it was me. I'm the one who did it. I was the person who bought it. It was me the whole time. So I finally got it. I've never played it before. It's awesome.
I know, it's great.
It looks incredible. Everything's super cool. The anti-grav stuff's awesome. I did do an interesting experiment, though. So since I was going somewhere, I downloaded it over Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone. And it took a good long while to do, but it worked. So... hey, that's a cool thing. And I didn't even have a 5G phone at the time. It was just a 4G phone, and it wasn't great reception. So,
well, you got 5G now because you got the vaccine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Built-in 5G. Built-in, baby. The Spider-Man of wireless networking.
Well, anything else you picked up?
So I got that. Oh, I got Zelda Joy-Cons because my Joy-Cons I never sent back in. And the Joy-Cons I was borrowing from my friend also have a problem.
Yeah.
So I need to send both of those back in. But with the recent discovery of you could just put a piece of business card under it and it fixes the problem basically. And the also recent discovery that if you're going to open it up to put a piece of business card under it, you can just buy a whole new little Joy-Con part offline for $1 or something. So I might just order 4 of those and fix all the other Joy-Cons I have, give my friend back his lender pair that he's been giving me for a year, and then I will have my own 2 sets of Joy-Cons. But I thought these Zelda Joy-Cons, I remember when they were first announced, people were like, oh my God, this is going to be the new hot Nintendo thing that you can't find anywhere. And now it's just everywhere.
Yeah, I saw 4 at Walmart yesterday when I was there.
So it's I think it's so interesting that there's been this huge history, especially I think it was really peaking during Amiibo and then like when the first NES Classic launched. But since then, like, you could still just go out and casually find the Animal Crossing Switch. You can't find any more like the Eevee Pikachu ones. So those ones were definitely more of a limited thing. But it's so interesting how I see so much more like... It's just hard to find things that you should be able to get, like the PS5 still.
So get this. I at Walmart yesterday, stacks and stacks of 3D Mario All-Stars, $30.
Oh.
Not kidding. So I was like, damn. Like, I might just need to pick some up and flip them myself at some point. Which it was honestly kind of shocking. Like, I'm wondering if I want to wait to see if they go down even lower.
I can't believe that they would lower the price because they're never... Well, I guess it's the retail lowering the price.
Yeah, because they can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
So everybody's got them. So I might actually, I don't know, I might go out there and buy a couple more. But, like, you can buy brand new right now. $37 or best offer, pre-owned, with $4 shipping. Brand new, $39 or $43. I mean, it's not that far off. Here's another one, $40. So, like, Walmart, after you consider the tax and everything, it's right on par.
Yeah.
With what you're looking at on the secondary market. So, yeah, that was a little shocking. So, as far as my stuff is concerned, I haven't been picking up too many brand new games. Or really games in general, just because I've been so flippin' busy with everything I'm doing. Most of what I've been doing recently has been selling Magic cards on TCG. So I have sold quite a bit with my goal of getting some Badlands at some point for Legacy, or getting like a pair of Badlands and a pair of Taigas, so I can play Legacy a little more often down the road and have that versatility with dual lands, which I didn't have in the past. So I think I'm going to do that once I sell enough. I think I've only sold like $65 or $70 worth, so I'm about a quarter of the way there for one card.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'm selling like commons and uncommons for like $1 a piece. So, you know, every time I'm selling them, and then there's like $1 shipping, and I only pay 50 cents on shipping. So, or 55 cents. So every single time I'm selling, I'm making an extra 50 cents on the shipping alone. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice being able to kind of just go through it and put cards online and flip them and sell them. And I've got like 100% TCG rating now of the sales I've made, and it's pretty interesting. So we'll see. Not hold.
You want to get into the cards that are really worth some money? Talking about K-pop photo cards.
No, I'm good.
My wife is all about the secondary K-pop photo card market right now, and that is like insane.
I've got some Pokemon cards on my list on there. Let's see how that goes. But outside of that, I picked up the Monster Boy Collector's Edition on Nintendo Switch via Limited Run Games, and I was looking at the PS4 version, but it was sold out, so next best thing was Switch. Because PS4 is limited to 900 copies. And
that's it?
Yeah.
Holy heck.
And then it's like 5 times the amount of copies released on the Switch. So I'm not sure why that was the case, but that's what they did. Wish I would have known that in advance, and I would have picked up a PS4 version. And I honestly would have preferred a PS4 version over to Switch, but it is what it is. For those that don't know, this game, for the longest time, is like out of print, I guess, and it shot up to like $150 for a copy of it. So the fact that I could get a limited run copy for $70 of the same game and get all the cool collectibles, totally worth it. So picked that up just in case. You know, it becomes scarce again, and then we have this whole issue where I don't want to pay $150 and wish I would have picked it up for less. And then in terms of what I'm playing, dude, Apex Legends all the way. That's all I've been doing. I've been playing so much arenas. It's unbelievable. And it's just a ton of fun. I've been playing a lot with Fuse. So I don't know if, you know Fuse, right? The guy that launches the grenades. So in arenas, he's able to hold extra grenades. And so Justin actually made a video recently where he had like a P2020 and a Mozambique and loaded up with a bunch of arc stars, and that's all he did. And he's gotten to the point where when he's in matches, he's just like arc star, arc star, arc star, P2020, kill the enemy. And it's just brutal. He's getting like 9 kills per match that he's playing. And
nobody can counter him.
Nobody can really counter it. Like, there's people that'll throw arc stars back, but he's gotten so good at it, he could stick people from across the map. I've started getting good at it to where I could stick people with his cluster bomb across the map. Oh, yeah. And it is so hilarious when somebody's sitting there sniping and you just like pinpoint accurately hit somebody with this thing and they just panic and they run because like, oh crap, cluster, bomb just came out of nowhere, and you just see like the ding 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 of their shield like popping every time as they're going down. So that's been pretty fun to watch. So I've been playing some Apex. I haven't gotten back into God of War. I actually tried to play it last night, as a matter of fact, and I'm sitting there, played some Apex. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll transition to God of War. Started falling asleep on the control. I'm like, motherfuckers. So yeah, jumped off, went to bed, and that was kind of it. So
how far are you in God of War?
I'm still like in the same area. So I got to...
You still hadn't gotten the boat yet, right?
No,
You're in like the baby beginning.
I got to the second dwarf, finished up his stuff, and
wait,
then...
no, you should have the boat by
Oh,
then.
yeah, I think I do, actually. So the witch or whatever started making like bridges for me to cross.
Oh, okay.
And then I knew I had to turn it off when she's like, here's a bridge to cross. And I was crossing the bridge, and then I opened my eyes back up, and I was clear across the other side of the area. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's turn this off now. So yeah, I'll jump into that probably today, actually. I'll probably take some time to play that and just kind of dive back into it.
I'll play Mario at some point.
Oh my god, yeah, I know. You still gotta beat that.
I will.
You got
3 months.
3 months.
To beat a Mario game. Come on. What's that gonna take me?
I don't know, man. Mr. Persona 4, Persona 5.
I just really want to play Spice World, man.
Jesus. I gotta see where it is. Okay. Did you, outside of Mario, anything else you're playing? I mean Mario Kart, obviously.
No, yeah, just jamming on some of the Mario Kart. It's been fun.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's jump into the first article here, dude. Nintendo is reportedly set to bring Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to Switch Online. This is Sean Hollister at The Verge.
So this has been kind of bouncing around for like the last week and a half pretty heavy. I mean, it's been rumored for a while. I think that this is fundamentally like one of the best moves that they could make, and I'm surprised it took them so long to come to this point, just because putting handheld games on a handheld console makes a ton of sense. Those are the kinds of games that were inherently built with the design of, hey, just, play a little bit and then shut it off, and then you can play some more. And this is exactly what the Switch is. Perfect. So I think with looking back now, especially since it's been a while, we used to talk about the Switch Online and stuff a lot more. Like, especially when it was new, we talked about it pretty heavy for a little while, and I was getting a bunch of stuff on there for cheap. And since then, it's kind of evolved into like, it's got so many games on there. Most of them are trash. Most of them are like burying stuff. There's like reports of like the same game, but with just different titles being put up twice within a week of each other. Like, it's not a curated environment. It's really gone away from that. But that's just like the marketplace for purchasing stuff. The Switch Online component that you're paying for is mostly just, the connectivity for your online games. And those are limited basically just to first-party Nintendo games. So for $20 a year, you've been getting the Super Nintendo and the NES. It's like over 100 games, and now adding a third one. I think it makes that $20 even more appealing, because like in the mess that is the online store, like there's such a prolific history of Nintendo things, and they're not trying to sell those to you. They're just trying to give them to you for the $20 a year, which seems very reasonable. Like, you don't have to go search through the clutter. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to like, you could just let all that be there and have all these great old titles. And I think that Game Boy, possibly Game Boy Advance, especially to get people ready for like this Advance Wars remake, if that hits and sells, we're going to see like a Golden Sun remake bundle. We're going to see all kinds of stuff. What was that one game where you had like the light gun, and it was like had like a light receptor in like the cartridge, like you could tell if it was daytime or nighttime when you were playing. It would be harder at night.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
It's like a really cool game. It's supposed to be fun, but it's super hard to emulate. I mean, the Switch has the ability to pretty much, I would say, tell what the brightness is outside.
Well, yeah,
like with all the different stuff that's built into it, it can tell you that. So like, there's a lot of room here to build in like tilt and tumble games. There's gyroscope in there. Like a lot of this stuff you haven't really been able to emulate on other hardware. Now you can do it on the Switch, and I think it'll be great.
I think we need a Pokemon Pinball remake on there. That'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, it's something that, I can see why Nintendo has taken this long to do it, because what it does is it adds another item to draw the attention towards the Switch. So I think they're phasing a lot of this stuff in, which makes sense from a business standpoint, right? You're not going to put all your eggs in one basket right off the bat. You're just going to kind of do a phased approach, which I think they've done here, and they've done kind of nicely to kind of release these things out over time. And it just creates excitement for their console. I'm definitely stoked about this. There's a lot of Game Boy games over the years I never got to play because I just either didn't purchase them or just didn't care to play them when I was younger. Now having that opportunity coming forward, it does make me want to jump in and buy, for $20 a year. And specifically just on that, I've heard horror stories from people on like Nintendo servers and the functionality of their online play, and in general, it's just not like a great user experience. But I think this, to your point, dude, this makes it 100% worth it. Like, being able to have access to that library at $20 a year is not a bad deal. And then why even worry about emulation at that point, because they're releasing it. You're able to play it. So who cares? Like, now I get like emulation in cases of games that, I don't know if Hagane is on Nintendo Switch Online, for example. I haven't dove in to see, but it's an expensive game, and I can see why people would say, I want to go ahead and emulate this because Nintendo's
who's got the money?
Yeah, who's got the money? And Nintendo's not releasing it. Same could be said for like Little Samson, right? If I can't play Little Samson on Nintendo Online, and I'm not going to pay $1,000 to play it, let's go ahead and emulate it.
Dude, I mean, like Mario 64 is like $2 million. Like, who can afford to buy
$2 million? Yeah, we'll dig into that here. Actually, you want to just let's just
we were kind of going to talk about that before, so
yeah, let's jump into that now.
There was a video that came out like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, by Carl Jobst, and
Yost.
It's on YouTube.
Carl Yost.
Okay, and forgive my pronunciation. So basically, it's a super deep takedown of WATA and these super overpriced games that have been trading, and basically it kind of seems like he broke the scoop that this is based off of like insider trading and like fixing the prices and having like ghost bidders or whatever it was called, like shill bidders. It's just like this huge shady thing that like a few people kind of were like, I can just arrange these prices over time to be whatever and just continue to make money off of being the person who says they're the authority on this.
Well, one of the crazy things is how he links it back to other collectibles in the past. And to give everybody a general idea, he's pretty much saying that because of all these high-priced sealed games that are occurring, like the $2 million Mario and the $1.5 million Mario 64 and all that, that we are in a hyperinflated and artificial bubble in gaming, and it's all going to burst at some point, whether it's in the near future or later on down the road, but this will burst at some point. And he kind of dives back into talking about coin collecting in the 80s, comic books in like the 90s. You've got sports cards, all of that was occurring years ago as well. And every single one of those collectible bubbles popped over time. And so one of the things I found interesting is when he talked about, I think it was specifically the comic books, and how the owner of Heritage Auctions, there's somebody that accuses him in the video, I forget who it is, but basically said that the owner would take like a sealed copy of a game or a comic, would get it graded, release it, purchase his own copy
for a few $1,000s more,
and
shelve it, and then do it again 5 or 6 years later.
Exactly.
And just keep arbitrarily pushing that price up himself.
Yeah, and then the one thing that's noted in this too is that a lot of different companies that do grading, so for example like CGC or like Beckett or any of these companies, what they will typically do is they'll release like a population of how many of these games have been graded and what have they graded at and so on, so you know how rare this game actually is based on the grading system. We see that with card games too. So for example, there's a guy, I think it's Loveheart or something, or I forget his name, but he's a guy that does like Pokemon sealed pack opens basically, and he does a lot of grading as well. And so a lot of times he'll say, hey, look, here's all of the like Charizards that have been graded, and here's like the ones that receive like X grades and what they're at. So you know the population because that's been released. You know how rare that specific
Because if there's only one, it's different than if there's 100.
And so like companies usually do that to help inform the consumer on what's actually rare and what's not.
Get a fair price.
Yeah. Wata Games refuses to release any sort of information on what they've graded before. So they could have graded, 100,000 copies of Mario, for example, sealed and have all these grades, and they will not tell us how many of those games have actually been graded.
And Heritage will only trade in WATA graded product.
Yeah.
They won't accept grading from, and WATA's not even the first.
No, VGA was, I think.
Yeah, so it's like, it's super sketchy once you get down to the bottom of this. And I've not heard of Carl before, but I'm definitely going to start following and looking into more of his stuff, because like this is some really good, like, hard-nosed journalism that nobody really, like, we all heard the stories online about these auctions, and then all of a sudden this like huge takedown with like personal anecdotes from people that like actually like know and are close to the people being accused. Like, there's a lot going on there.
Well, and he does say like he didn't technically break the story. There's a lot of other like smaller podcasts and YouTubers, like kind of like ourselves, that talk about this type of stuff and have been breaking it over the years, but they didn't have the platform to be able
John,
to.
We're not breaking anything.
No, I'm not saying we are, but they didn't have the platform to project these
to
thoughts,
launch it out
right?
into the world that way.
And you and I have had thoughts on things too, but we don't have as large of an audience as this guy to get that information out there. So there's times where we've talked about our opinion on certain matters, and it's either happens or is in the process of happening, down the road. So yeah, he basically used his platform to kind of prop up these other YouTubers and podcasters such who have been talking about this for years, and their frustrations tied to the fact that, these essentially investors are coming in with no intention of collecting, and in a sense are ruining video game collecting for the vast majority of us. Like, I'm not buying any games right now outside of new copies of games or copies of games that are on sale for current gen. I haven't bought a retro game in quite some time because the game prices are way too high. And it's primarily because we have this artificial crazy market of sealed games and everybody wanting to get everything they can graded and buy every single retro game they can. You were going to get
that one copy graded, right?
Yeah, I was looking at Wata Games, and then I started digging into this and reading into it. And I'm probably, if anything, not that I wanted to go to VGA, but I'll go to VGA and get that one graded. Mm-hmm. And, and it's not to say that grading is bad, because grading is good for like the comic industry.
Transparency is good, though.
Yes, and that's the key thing here, is that there's corruption tied to, from what he has said, Wata Games and like Heritage auctions. VGA is not included in that. And if you kind of look at other things like CGC and CBCS and all that for the comic book side of things, grading is actually a really cool part of the hobby. It allows you to keep something pristine and as a showpiece, and that's what I would want for like my copy of Devil's Third.
Yeah,
I would want it to be like a showpiece type of thing for my collection. And the primary reason I was looking at Wata is because aesthetically, their cases are better than VGA, and their price point was better than VGA. But after this, gonna have to start looking at VGA as an option on that. I haven't gotten it graded yet. I haven't even started a process on it, but I'd love to have a graded piece in the collection. I'm not gonna start doing, graded collecting for the most part, but the few sealed games I have, it might be worth, getting graded just to make sure that they stay in the condition they are.
The thing also to pull from this is like how much more insight into like, it's mostly, investors. It's not like none of the people involved in this really seem to be like core to caring. Like, it's people that are after money, that are, they own shares in collectibles and buy and sell those collectibles. And those are the people that are like doing this. Like, everybody else who's like, just like us, just buying and selling and doing regular game trading and stuff, like, this is like something that's happening to us through these other people trying to get in on our thing.
Yeah. Well, and there's money to be made, so I totally understand that and what they're doing. But at some point it's going to burst. It's going to have to. It's going to get to a point where, like $2 million for a copy of Mario Brothers sealed at a 9.8, like, That's absurd. You have things that are a hell of a lot more rare, like
Don't
action.
they know about Little Samson?
Well, yeah, right. You got Little Samson, right? But no, you have like Action Comics, for example, like the first issue of Superman and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that. That is actually
That's
rare.
super rare.
Yeah.
There's no way that any copy of a video game should be worth more than that.
No,
unless
not.
it's maybe one of like the world champion cards, but even those are only like in the 30,000s or something, right?
In the 30,000 range, I think complete in box. I want to say it's been a while since I looked at one of those. But Mario Bros is not exactly like a super rare game. No. It might be rare in a sense of being sealed, but we don't really know yet because WATA isn't releasing that information to say here's how many sealed copies we've graded.
Well, and we all know that somewhere in Japan, Nintendo has like a hollowed out section of Mount Fuji where they just have like a whole crate of sealed product of everything they've ever made.
We need Nintendo to just kind of step it up right now and have the whole like Indiana Jones Mount Fuji.
It's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
We need Nintendo to save us from the graded games fiasco that's occurring right now. Just start plopping out copies.
For whatever reason, they also have like just a bunch of PS5s.
Just a bunch of PS5s, yeah. That'd be funny. Yeah, right? That's how they make their money. Nintendo's the scalpers all along.
So transitioning to PS5.
Transitioning to PS5. Well, anything else on this particular?
Screw them.
Okay. Yeah. Screw WATA, screw Heritage Auctions. Definitely check out the video. I've actually got it linked on our Facebook page. So if you're listening, go check out our Facebook page. It's got like this whole scam corruption type title that's tied to it. It's really cool. I normally don't sit through things like that to listen in, but I was like...
It's right up our alley. If you like anything we talk about, you'll dig this.
Yeah, like seriously, dude. Like I do not really like sit back and listen to anything longer than like 15 minutes at a time at the very most. And the fact that I sat through 52 minutes of this to hear like every single word and hanging on every word he said, I was like, yeah that's good. That was good stuff. Okay, so transitioning, like you said, to PS5. The new PS5 has a much smaller heatsink, and this is Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. I actually watched a video on this. I forget his name. I want to say I linked it to you, but it's a YouTuber. I can never remember his name, but he does like Wish reviews, and he does like other tech-based reviews, and he's got glasses, which is the worst description ever, but he
one of those glasses people,
one of those glasses guys. But no, so it's funny, he'll like order a bunch of crap off of Wish, and then he'll sit back and do like the tech review on everything he's ordered and do like
did he do the Soldier Boy game system?
I don't think he did the Soldier Boy game system. I'll have to watch. I catch it every now and then. I'm not like subscribed or anything, but it's one of those like if I happen to see it come up on my feed, I'll like watch it. And so the PS5 one came up, and it was specifically around how the PlayStation 5, he took the newest version that was released, and then he took an older version. I think both were digital-based models. And he cracked them open after doing like a heat reading to see what the heat was. It was reading at, I think he said 48 degrees Celsius on the new one, and it was like 38 or 42 degrees Celsius.
I can give you the one that's on this article.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So the actual article that we have here is showing the original at 52 and the new at 55. That's Celsius.
So yeah, 3-degree difference, which can be kind of crazy. And then the decibels were actually higher as well. So because the system has to work harder to pump out more heat on the newer version, it's actually apparently louder, I think, on the newer version than the older version as well.
It also has a bigger fan.
Yeah. So there's a couple things. Obviously, a fan would be to most likely compensate for the heat coming out of it.
Yeah.
So in this instance, I don't know if it says in this article, but the video I watched, their suggestion was that the older model PS5s are the way to go compared to this new one that's come out like less than a year after the PS5's release. Like, go with the old model if you get the chance because of a heatsink, because of, the overall heat.
I mean, why not? If it's the same price.
Yeah.
Why
exactly.
not? I think that the used PS5 market in the future is going to be probably based around this. When we were talking the other day, we were talking about how there's very distinct differences between like the generations of PSP. There's less so between like every console gets like little upgrades here and there and things change throughout the life. And this is just the first big instance of those things. But I mean, it's not quite on the level of like the launch PS3 having backwards compatibility. It's not that big, but it's definitely something. Like the longevity of that first run PS5 is probably going to be a little bit better just because of that.
Yeah.
And when I first saw a thing, I didn't think that the difference was that drastic. Like, even in this image, like, it doesn't look that drastic. But then when you start to notice, like, all the copper that's gone,
Yep.
and it's 300 grams, which I looked it up, is actually over half a pound. It's like 0.6 something pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's not an insignificant difference. I mean, from what I can tell, there's not really a distinct, like, people see the heat being vacated out, and some say, well, that means that there's more heat. And some people say, yeah, but it also means that more heat is being vented. Like, if there's more heat coming out, that means that there's less heat inside. So,
But it's also running hotter. So,
well, I mean, unless the original one is just retaining more of that heat inside of the unit on that bigger heat sink instead of expelling it.
that's a good point.
So, like, you know, there's not going to be any real determination. I don't know that it's going to be a huge thing. I'm waiting for the Gen 2 anyways, so I could really care less.
Yeah, I'm waiting as well for
Give
a
me a
bit.
slim PS5.
Yeah, as long as it's got a disc in it and backwards compatible PS4, I'm sold. But yeah, I mean, and copper's pretty expensive anyways, so I mean, it makes sense that they remove a bunch of copper and such. So what they've done is, within a year, Sony has been able to remove enough, not components, but enough materials,
Stuff.
to make this profitable for them, which is definitely interesting, because back with the PlayStation 3, that console wasn't profitable for God knows how long.
Like 5 years or something.
It was stupid. So, yeah, I mean, they were taking a loss on everything that they sold. And the console didn't even sell that well. I mean, compared to other consoles that they've released. I mean, we're looking at, 88 million compared to, like, Xbox's 85 million. So that whole generation was just garbage in terms of games. So, or not games, but game console sales in general. So, yeah, we'll see. Let us know your thoughts on this one. And if you have any insight, or you are kind of big into the tech area and like the builds and such, and want to provide some comments on, what you think. Is Ryan's comments on it retaining more heat on the older model something that you can see, or is this a matter of the game consoles just running hotter because of a loss of copper in general? So hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Now, let us into the realm of speculation. So this week, we have PlayStation coming up with a new showcase on, when is it going to be? September 9th at 1 PST.
And this is Felicia Miranda at IGN.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Sony, they've got a lot of stuff coming up on their plate. There's a lot of stuff that we've yet to see very much of. There's stuff that we haven't seen at all. And I think that the thing that most people are saying, I mean, it's got to be God of War, man. It's got to be God of War. We got to see God of War. Everybody wants it. And I want, like, a good, legit trailer with, like, show me some story, show me some action, show me some big freaking set piece monster that you got to fight. Like, show us all the God of War stuff that we want to see, and people will be infinitely happy. I mean, I feel like at this point, I mean, I still haven't played original Horizon. I know so many people are super excited for that.
So good. I don't know how you haven't played it yet.
Yeah, but it's like, I feel like I've seen a bunch of that. Like, I'm not really excited to see more of that. I'm excited for people who are going to be happy about it. I do want to see what this Project Athea is. We got a glimpse of that a while ago, but not in any real terms that had anything meaningful. So some more of that. I don't really care about Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, dude, I need more Hogwarts Legacy.
I don't know what Pragmata is.
Pragmata, I don't remember offhand.
Heavenly Bodies, Jet the Far Shore, Stray, Final Fantasy 16. These are all things that we know about, but like, they might not show up, or they might. Who knows?
I want Stray, but I think most of all, I want to see information on PSVR 2.
Well, there's not going to be. They explicitly said no PSVR 2. That's not going to be until next year, which is fine. Like, the thing is, at this point, nobody has a PS5 still. So how are you going to market accessory that only 10% of PS5 owners are even going to buy?
Yeah, good point.
Like, we got to get the PS5 out there, and especially over the last few months with all of the announcements of like games that were going to be exclusive and are now switching back to being cross-gen.
Yeah.
Like, people need a reason to buy a PS5. These are going to be the reasons. This is going to be the showcase that says, give your parents weapons and send them to the stores and make them wait in line and battle for your love for Christmas. This is what they're setting up the battleground right now.
I do wonder what we're going to see as far as like Black Friday is concerned this year with PS5s available.
All the scalpers, man. It's going to be a scalping Christmas.
Well, but that's the thing, because Black Friday typically has consoles on hand.
Who knows?
So they're not going to be
the Rona?
They shouldn't be online. Yeah, that's true.
With Rona on the rebound, who knows?
Well, I mean, but still, ticket-based, masks and all of that good
They
stuff.
do lotteries in other countries. Like they have like stores where you get like a lottery and then you can buy one if you get picked.
Yeah,
that seems smart. I've never heard of doing that here.
I can't see them doing like online only Black Friday. I think retailers want people to get in the store.
Doorbusters.
Yeah, I could see them doing PlayStation 5s like, in person, which actually kind of makes me wonder, do I go out to like Florence or something, some like random ass Walmart in the middle of nowhere and do PlayStation 5, out there? Like, are they going to get some? So who knows?
Other things we've seen before, Deathloop. I feel like every time I see Deathloop, I see more of Deathloop, and I kind of get a little more interested, but I'm sure that it's probably just going to be on Game Pass at some point, so I'm not going to buy that. I think that Little Devil Inside, that was one I remembered writing down.
That looked cool.
Last year. That looked super cool, but if that's going to be a PS5 exclusive, then who knows?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us we're still not sure, right? Like, and there's games like I think Medium, for example, is supposed to be like an Xbox exclusive. And that's going to be...
It's going to move over to somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think a lot of them are like a year.
Yeah.
Like it's exclusive for a year.
Which is fine. I get it. They're trying to push those games on those consoles or really push consoles in general through that like year of exclusivity. Like BioShock was like that too. It was a timed exclusive on the 360 and now it's on everything. So I think we're kind of past the day and age of, exclusives unless it's a, company-owned IP, which is why... In a sense, I've always been a big Sony fan and not purchased an Xbox because there haven't really been any like core exclusives that are only on Xbox.
Blinks?
Huh? Yeah, but the thing is, like, can't that be? Yeah, that's true.
Halo,
yeah, but it's on PC now.
Well, I guess Halo's always kind of had an off-on history with PC a little bit.
So like a lot of these games get transitioned over to PC anyways because it's Microsoft. Whereas
Psychonauts 2 just came out on Game Pass. I was listening to people talk about it on the way here. I might have to go back and play some of those.
Yeah,
maybe that'll get me in the mood for Mario.
Well, Psychonauts, I think, is owned by Microsoft now, part of one of their deals. But yeah, so I mean, I'm going to at some point get the PlayStation 5. I'm excited to an extent for what's to come, but I really want to get a GPU more than anything else. Yeah. I really need a graphics card for my computer.
So,
right,
besides speculating on that, we've also got the rumor mill churning that Nintendo is going to be doing a direct sometime in the near future. Nobody really knows what kind of stuff, Nintendo's going to do for a direct until they do it. But I know the one thing people have been really wanting to see for the last 3 directs
is Waluigi on Super Smash Brothers.
Okay, that too. But no, Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah,
Hollow Knight was so good. People so excited for Silk Song. I want to see some of that.
I still need to play Hollow Knight, dude.
It's so good. The music is so good.
I've heard it's fantastic. I'm in the middle of Ori still. We started playing a little bit more of that recently. That's so good too. Although we're stuck.
So let's see. Prominent leaker Zippo claims on Blogger that Nintendo Direct will be happening soon, likely during the first complete week of the month, so next week, or the following week. Because we got a holiday. I don't know. Does anybody else care about Labor Day? Like, I feel like most people here don't care about Labor Day. Like, the international community and Nintendo recognize that as not being a reason to release a direct, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I like it because I don't have to go to the office.
So
I guess sit at my computer.
Yeah, some more speculation on that. Possibly seeing some more Metroid Dread, which would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Advance Wars 1 and 2, that looks like it's going to be awesome. Kind of leading into what we were talking about earlier, if they're going to bring back Game Boy Advance, like, that would be a cool announcement to have some more of both of those. The Final Smash DLC characters. I know that there's so much, like, Vegas should have odds on. Well, no, they can't because the outcome's determined already.
Does it say Final Smash characters?
Final DLC character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
If they do not release Waluigi as the final Smash character for DLC, there's going to be some pretty pissed off people.
Dude, what if it's just like another sword character from Fire Emblem?
Like, if it's another...
just some other...
It might as well just be Fire Emblem Heroes or something, or Fire Emblem Smash
Cranky
Bros.
Kong.
Oh, dude, Cranky Kong would be badass. Okay, he tops Waluigi. I would totally buy that game and a DLC specifically for Cranky Kong.
Or what would be like the worst, like, sellout character? I don't know, like, what if they got like a smoking deal with Pillsbury and they put the Doughboy in there?
Can you imagine if they put the Doughboy in over Waluigi?
He's not from a game.
I know. But no, like...
Cool Spot. There we go. He has a game.
Cool Spot.
Put Cool Spot in there.
Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man. Pepsi finally broke into gaming.
Again. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Soldier Boy.
Yeah,
they put Soldier Boy in the game.
Yeah, because he now owns Smash Bros, right? Yeah.
There we go.
Which, by the way, I haven't seen anything else in that Atari topic.
I did hear a follow-up on that.
Oh.
So apparently what happened with the Soldier Boy thing was they offered him 140 million Atari coins, which is like a proprietary cryptocurrency that Atari is trying to make as like a staple backer for all like microtransactions. Like, basically they want to take and add another layer of ambiguity to microtransactions. So not only are you buying coins and gems in the game, but to buy those coins and gems, you need to pay with Atari coins that you buy with real money. That's what Atari thinks the future is.
Atari's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason that they are where they are right now.
So, I mean, that's what Soldier Boy got confused about. It wasn't real money. It was like, I think I heard somebody talking about the exchange, and they're like half a cent. So 140 million half a cent is still...
Not a lot.
I mean, it's still something.
Not really. $140 million, for example, right? If you took off 2 zeros from that, you're looking at 1.4 million.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, I guess half that out, if my math is right. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's like 700K, technically.
That's still money.
But in, like, fake currency.
That nobody wants to buy from you.
And if you're using Soldier Boy as your spokesperson and he thinks he now owns your company because he gave you 700...
Well, he like backed out of everything because it's like, I guess like he got the money no matter what. It was like guaranteed in the contract. So he basically just like, maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he was just like, I want the money, I'm going to walk away from it.
Atari's dumb. Like, why would you use that guy as your spokesperson? And,
I don't know. What did it cost them really though? Nothing?
Nothing, because it's fake
money?
currency. Yeah, it's just printed currency. So what's he going to do? Buy like the upteenth copy of Centipede and Pac-Man?
The only other thing, so let's see, Splatoon 3, that had like a weird trailer. I'm not a big Splatoon person, so I mean, if they have more stuff on that, cool.
Yeah, I mean, even what we played when we did an inflation deflation on it was like, eh.
Well, it's just like, I don't know if there is a story. Like, there is a story, but like, I don't know it. So like the third sequel in a shooting franchise,
you're not going to get excited over it.
Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, I did think that looked really good when we saw the trailer for that last time. And then the way they word this, the still unnamed sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's been so long since we've gotten anything else on this. I think we're not going to get like a big trailer or anything. Maybe we get the subtitle though. Maybe we at least get the tag on it.
Honestly, the sequel has to be Exhale of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild?
And an Exhale of the Wild sequel. You breathe in and you exhale. It's genius, Ryan. Just think about it. It's science. It's backed by science. You have to take your Breath of the Wild in and you exhale your Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Okay, let's move on. Ryan didn't get the dad joke.
I get it. I just didn't. I was trying to come up with my own one, and I was floundering worse than you.
It's because I beat you to it. You can't defeat my dad jokes now. Okay, so
I mean, that's pretty much it. They'll
Yeah.
probably talk about the Game Boy stuff. They'll talk about like a couple games. I would like to see, we all want to see what we want to see, but as long as I get Silk Song, as long as we get that Smash character and it's somebody really dope, like Waluigi would just be the ultimate closeout, but who knows?
Well, that being said, let's jump into our inflation deflation for a week. This week we played some Simpsons Hit and Run, as we said earlier, developed by Radical Entertainment, published by Vivaldi Universal Games, designed by Joe McGinn. It was released September 16th.
Oh, sorry, it should be Vivendi. It auto-corrected.
You always do this to me. Always. People, he always does this to me. Released September 16 of 2003. See, it screwed me up, Ryan. And the game type is an action-adventure racing game. I would just say it's GTA Simpson style.
Yeah.
And then it has a reception of an 8. Dude, I played this game very little when I first got it many years ago, back in 2003, because I got this upon release. And I just never got into it at that.
Were you
day
big
and
into
age.
The Simpsons then?
I was, actually, and I just never got into it. And I think a big part of that is because I was playing GTA. So because it was like...
it was the knockoff.
It was a knockoff.
If you got that and then got a little older and played GTA, boom, perfect. But
Yeah.
because it was the reverse.
Yeah, because I was already playing some GTA to some extent with, I guess, 3 at that point in time. That's where my mind was, right? It was just GTA. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's The Simpsons with a GTA knockoff. And so I played a little bit. I was like, all right, yeah, this is okay, but it's not my favorite thing ever. Having played it again today and having now watched 29 seasons of The Simpsons in the last year, yeah, this game is awesome, dude.
Yeah, I've been rewatching a ton of Simpsons just this week too. And I mean, it's so good. Like I was saying, I'd play, and we're going to do Simpsons all month.
Yeah.
But like just being able to revisit any of these games just to get like the voice and like the interactions and just more Simpsons, like I think that that's totally worthwhile and engaging. I thought the controls in this were like pretty good. Recently there was an awesome video somebody put online. They remade this game in Unreal 3 or something and put it online.
Unreal 4?
Unreal 4. And it looked awesome. I mean, for some guy just spending a week doing it, I think it got like the original devs like excited or somebody, and we might see a remake of this, which would be so cool and so worth like checking out.
Well,
I think this was a ton of fun today.
Well, and the cool thing is you have 18 years have passed since they made this, so you're talking
You
like
can add
a whole bunch that you can add to
Yeah.
it. And I mean, if you can really like expand the world of The Simpsons in a hit and run like remake, dude, I would totally buy that. Totally buy that. Now, there is a Simpsons game, I know, but I never played it. I think that's on the PS3, that copy.
I'm sure there's a bunch of
I don't know.
Simpsons
Maybe
games.
we could play that one instead of one of the Super Nintendo and Nintendo ones because it's more of that 3D action versus a 2D side scrolling and whatnot. But yeah, dude. So when we played this, I definitely enjoyed the controls of it. Very fluid, very easy to work with. The missions were pretty straightforward and really just allowed you to expand into that universe and world of The Simpsons. And of course, there's a lot of unlockable components that will be tied to missions like any other game of this nature, right? So like Montgomery Burns' estate, can't get in there right off the bat, right? But there's a secret tunnel to go to what's the stonemasons or stonecutters, whatever.
The stonecutters, yeah,
Stonecutters,
that's what it is.
And so that's been a long time since I watched that episode. But yeah, so I mean, you're able to expand on that. You have the different characters and such that are, talking throughout and their expressions and whatnot. Flanders has like a bunker in his backyard. You're able to go into the school and do various things in there, which is hilarious when you're sitting back talking to, what's his name? Skinner. And he's like, I'm busy installing asbestos.
Yeah.
Like, just different
the voice
commentary.
clips are great.
Yeah, the voice clips are a lot of fun. So I definitely enjoyed it. It was a nice little blast of the past and something I never really appreciated back then, but can appreciate now. And I would love to see some sort of remake or remaster.
The one thing I think we both agreed, the thing that translates the worst from 2D to 3D is Lisa.
Oh my God, her
Lisa
hair
does not translate well.
No, not in any capacity does her hair translate the way it needs to at all. So Yeah, I mean, really, Simpsons in general, if you think about it, if you look at some of the like 3D special episodes they've had, like when Homer gets put into
The computer?
no, he gets like into a wall. I think it was a Treehouse of Horror episode.
Yeah, I just
actually.
watched that one yesterday.
Oh, did you? Yeah. So I remember when he gets in there, he's like, ooh, and he's like pressing on water and he's like freaking out and stuff. And like even the 3D rendering on that is not the best. Like this is just a set of characters that just doesn't really translate into a 3D setting very well, and just looks so much better in that, you know, standard art style that they're already produced in.
It would be interesting to see like a cell shaded remake as opposed to like a 3D remake.
Yeah.
To keep it like 2D, 3D, because like I feel like there's enough tech now that they could probably do that without as much difficulty and really stylize it in a way that would work well. Although from what we saw from the Unreal that the guy did, like it looked pretty good when he did it, and it was just one guy. So they could probably do the 3D a lot better now.
Yeah, I would agree so. And you know, the artwork is definitely above and beyond what it was 18 years ago. Really 17 and like 9/10 of a year ago. So yeah, I would love to see this, like I said, remade, and I had a lot of fun with it. So getting down into the brass tacks on this one, most expensive version, of course, is going to be your complete in box GameCube, specifically Player's Choice on this one, at $58.44, and then your cheapest version is going to be a PAL loose copy on the PS2 for $10.65. I mean, this game is pricey in general, right? And we played this, I think I mentioned it, but we played it on PS2.
Always on PS2. I put the GameCube price in here, but knowing John, PlayStation man, like, it made sense that it would have been on PS2.
I'm pretty sure I have this on the GameCube, actually. I don't know if I have a Player's Choice version.
I just associate these games with GameCube, even though I never played them. For some reason, they just scream out GameCube game to me.
Yeah, well, it's interesting as the Player's Choice being as high as it is. And I think, you know, we talked about this a little bit earlier before recording today, that I think a lot of that is because it sold so many copies as like a black label, the Player's Choice came out specifically for that, and likely just had a lower print run, which would explain why it's a little more expensive on that side of things. Because like the same thing with Silent Hill 3, I think, or 2, one of those two. Silent Hill 2 or 3, the greatest hits version is actually rarer than the black label, but it's not. From a value perspective, people just tend to spend more on the black label, and I think that's part aesthetically as well. But for PS2, you're looking at complete in box $34.76. That peaked at $45 in, surprise, surprise, April of 2021. Looks like it's still trending upwards, though.
Well, it kind of slumped down, and now it's looping back up.
Yeah.
So get ready for that next wave to roll through.
We'll see, man. A loose copy is going to run you $28. That peaked at $35 in, again, surprise, surprise, May of 2021. Also trending up, so the same trend. You know, I'm trying to think here. A complete
the GameCube
box
one being like $20 more.
Yeah,
makes me feel like this PlayStation one is.
It's the way to go.
Yeah, it's definitely not overpriced like that. It feels like $30 is a lot for this, but it's way better than $35.
Yeah, I would say this game is definitely inflated.
But how inflated?
But not by much.
What would be a fair price? Like $30?
I think 30 is honestly fair for this. And
it's kind of what I was leaning.
You know, and it kind of goes back into discussions we've had with prior games, right? It's not necessarily...
We should have looked at the manual for this. I bet since it's Simpsons, it has a good manual.
Yeah.
With some jokes and stuff in it or something.
It might, yeah. We should check that out. I mean, we got Road Rage next week.
A good manual can help sell a game for me. I mean, the artwork's good. We get into this every so often, like when you start looking at like a franchise game, like I'm sure that the group of people that collect for this are not just gamers, but also Simpsons collectors. So there's probably a larger market than for other games for this. So that could also be a reason why it's more expensive, because more people have their eyes on it.
Yeah.
With a remake around the road, possibly though, or at least stirrings of excitement, I would think that would make this game probably go up, especially since it kind of was peaked and then kind of came down and now it's kind of maybe going back up. If this is overpriced, it's probably not as overpriced as it's going to be coming up.
Well, that's assuming that,
Simpsons is still on air. Once it goes off air, I'm sure all the stuff that has Simpsons on it will go up $5 or something stupid.
Or something stupid, yeah. $30 I think is a fair price here. Like I was saying, we have talked about this with prior games in the past where you have a game that is kind of high priced like this, but when you start kind of considering other areas, right? Like the day and age that we're at where games are costing sometimes $70 for a brand new game, and you're getting a full game that at one point was $50 when it came out. So $30 to $35, it's not going to break the bank. It's still a fun game at the end of the day. If you're able to upscale your PS2 or have that capability, totally worth it to do this and play this game. I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I do think it's still inflated at $35 right now, but
inflated but worth paying.
So in that case, it's just right if you wanted to go by that.
Rough rating system.
All right. So is it just right at 35 or is it inflated?
I don't see why. I don't see why it wouldn't be just right. Because if it was inflated, we would say that it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be worth it.
It would be too inflated for us to call it inflated. It would have to be like I would not pay $60 for a complete in box on GameCube.
No, definitely not. But 35 is very palatable on that. So, all right, let's put in just right on our rating system on this one. And at some point in time, folks, we will update our website. And it will have all of the just rights and reviews that you desire to read back on, even though you're listening to this episode now, as Ryan types away on my computer. You don't have your iPad on you today? Oh. As he shakes his head and rolls back to his microphone.
I got a dope new phone.
Yeah,
you
did.
I don't need an iPhone anymore or an iPad anymore.
But can you update our notes on your phone?
Oh, yeah. I wrote the whole script on it.
Oh.
I got a Galaxy Z Fold 3. It's super cool. If you like folding phones or you think they're dope, get one. Check out Mr. Mobile. Shout out to Mr. Mobile.
I'm going to keep my OnePlus, my Chinese phone of some sort. Well,
they're stealing all our podcast ideas, John.
They are. They really are. So next week we're going to be playing some Simpsons Road Rage on the PlayStation 2, of course. And the week after that, I'm thinking Simpsons Skateboarding, but we can kind of dig into that. Now that I thought about the Simpsons game on the PlayStation 3.
It'll be Simpsons something.
Yeah, I want to play that too. I mean, there's so much.
September.
We might want to just on a couple of these, double up our games.
Right.
And just play 2 games for one episode. That'd be fun. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll look into that. We'll talk about it. But yeah, Simpsons Road Rage next week. Again, this has been episode 147 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.